What's up everybody, my name is Kason. Welcome back to the WDL. This is the Season 4 Week 1 video for the Heindler division. If you haven't already watched it, I already have the Champions League video out. It was super awesome to see. I hope you guys enjoy that one. But here is Heindler. We got an entirely different division, 12 more teams going to be going at it today, which means we have 12 battles for you guys, which is going to be awesome to see. Right out of the gate, top to bottom. This was the draft order, and that is how they are listed for now until the end of the video when the standings are all going to be shaken up. So first we have Dr. Dickhead, coach of the Knobgoblins, making his return to the WDL. Was not there last season, but he is back here for Season 4. And now we have a bunch of returning players. Kyouma, formerly known as Core87, coach of S.E.E.S. We have Catrah, coach of Sandrock. LucianRamz of Lone Shadows. Daewn of Inquisition. A new player, King of Kansas City Killas, and Snark, aka Error 404 from last season, coach of Arise from the Crashes. We have Maughanman, a new player, coach of Dirty Slushie, and I'm sure all you guys know who OdaibaDiver is, coach of Odaiba Diving School. Love that team name. We have Impaler, another new player, coach of Three-Legged Pants. Sixeight, another new player, coach of Zasshu. And finally, one more new player joining the field, Xeno, coach of Polarity. It should be an amazing video for you guys today. I hope you enjoy it. Let's check out the matches. Kicking off Season 4, Week 1 of the Heindler division, we have Dr. Dickhead, coach of the Knobgoblins, versus LucianRamz, coach of Lone Shadows. And it looks like we've got the double Shadow Lynx comp coming out from LucianRamz here, as the Pissarro TMR is used by Shadow Lynx on ice, alongside Sylvie to support. So obviously some Dark Bahamut synergy going on here with the Treasures Hunter's Fortune buff. And obviously that is the lock TMR. Shadow Lynx is going to be very dodgy at this point with Illusion and the agility and luck up, but it looks like Bartz is on the other side ready for his follow-up, and there are two big archers here to try and deliver his damage onto the enemy team. It is Curry, Wizette, and Uni. The sharpshoot lands, which means the follow-up is guaranteed to land. Shadow Lynx is down immediately, and this is the power of Bartz. And seeing how oppressive he can be alongside some of these long-range damage dealers, especially when you have guaranteed hits there. Emberlight Vitality comes out from the Uni, so obviously the Lucio TMR, LucianRamz's Shadow Lynx on ice is going to buff herself up here. Sylvie's going to start channeling something. I imagine this is full life. Is she in range for it? Yes, she is. So Shadow Lynx is going to come back, but can she get to the other side of the map? She's going to take a turn here. Can she go in and kill a Curry? No, she's going to go backwards and buff Illusion. That is not good for LucianRamz. She needs to get to the other side of the map as quickly as possible here, because Curry, I'm sure, is about to hit somebody again. And the question is, does it one-shot? She's going to go for the Shadow Lynx again. Follow-up lands. There's one more follow-up that Bartz can still do yet, but Shadow Lynx is down for the count a second time here. But the other Shadow Lynx here, perfect launch for 11,000 damage. My goodness, hold on a minute. It looks like LucianRamz might actually be in really good shape here. I thought Dr. Dickhead was just going to easy win this, but that full life came in huge. Punishing Slow Arrow is a good amount of damage onto this Shadow Lynx on ice, though. Can the double archer somehow make a comeback here for Dr. Dickhead? It's looking rough. Shadow Lynx on ice is ready to go with 75 AP. Obviously, with her brand new upgrades, she's a solid unit. Perfect launch again. 2 for 2 here. 2 perfect launches, 2 kills. And Shadow Lynx on ice is here to make a statement. Shadow Mine going to hit the Sylvie in the backline, dealing a chunk of damage. But Sylvie, is she low enough to go for her limit break? Yes, she is. So she's just going to make a wish, make her health bar go all the way back up, and give herself a nice little one-hit barrier here. Shadow Lynx on ice, can she make it a perfect 3 for 3 with the perfect launches? Yes, she does. 3 for 3, and that is a triple kill for Shadow Lynx on ice. LucianRamz of Lone Shadows. It looked rough for him early in the match, but turns out he is victorious here and wins the first game of the season for the Heindler division. Battle number 2 for the Heindler division here is none other than Catrah and Kyouma, formerly known as Core87, returning players of the WDL, as that physical shield is going to be online for Summer Helena on Catrah's side, and the aerial supremacy buff from Aranea. So it looks like on Kyuma's side, triple spear composition, which is really cool to see. Gurn's back, Victoria, and Aranea. And on Catrah's side, the double glove, Revelka, Summer Helena, and Ravi's. The Keenblade coming out from Kyuma's side to try and get that CT up. And there's barriers everywhere on this map. Gernsback's got a barrier. Revelka have a barrier. It's like Oprah handing out barriers essentially to everybody in this battle, as Summer Helena is going to go with the King Bradley TMR. Reaction block rate and haste. We see it pretty much every fight there is. Enchanting Trap, though. Limit Break's going to come out. Does it land a charm on anybody? 67% chance. It looks like there must be some charm resist on Ravi's, or else that is almost guaranteed. So well done by Catrah to try and resist that. The haste is also online now for Gernsback, but look at this turn rotation. Catrah's going to go 3 times in a row. Dispelling Double Shot will take the haste off of Gernsback. Bedeviling Blade does a nice chunk of damage. Confusion and getting rid of some of that AP. Revitalize is online for the Aranea, so she's ready to deal damage, but she needs to get in there quickly to have a chance, as Mermaid Dance is going to drop this AoE resist, and I expect this to nuke the enemy team here. Obviously, Victoria has that 100% shield, so she didn't take anything, but Gernsback is done before he could really get much of anything done. Victoria, what does she have here? Frost Reaver's going to take out the tank, though. Decent amount of damage onto Helena, but she's out of AP now, which means she's not going to be able to do much here. And Addison Rae, obviously from the Addison Rae VC, does a good chunk of damage onto Victoria. Revelka's going to finish it off, and now all of a sudden Aranea is in a 1v2 versus a lightning unit and a fire unit. I don't like her chances. She would need to kill here, which obviously Dragon Dive is not going to do enough to do that. Addison Rae comes out for the second time from the Summer Helena. Revelka, can she clean things up? Can she finish it off? Deflagration Blast is going to do just that. And Catrah is going to pick up the win over Kyouma. Sandrock overseas. GG. Next up to battle, we have Daewn, coach of Inquisition, versus Snark, coach of Arise from the Crashes. And we've got a full triple axe team coming out from Daewn. Absolutely love to see it, as the AoE buff comes out for Summer Kilfei. Lucio's got his massive physical health shield online, which is going to be quite useful against Esther and the Charlotte. Obviously, Halloween Lucio looking good into those two units, though Gargus might just be able to spell disaster for him. Magnetic Force going to come out from the Esther, so she's going to have a 3-hit physical barrier and set the pace coming out from Cyrell. So they are trying to nullify any sort of haste that might come out here with that Addison Rae TMR. Speaking of haste, Gargus is going to use Padfoot, which drops hate down even further than he already starts with, but King of the Dead comes out from the Lucio. He's going to give himself haste on this side. How much damage is it going to do? About 3k to both, closer to 4 to Charlotte, but honestly, considering their lightning units, I think they soaked that pretty well. Frostwind Axe, another 2600, and these two units are still standing strong. Can they return with any sort of damage here? Countdown. Charlotte goes to try and put Doom on Halloween Lucio because she cannot hit. Interesting to see here, as Gargus is going to start channeling a spell. Is this a guaranteed hit, though? Is he going to be able to hit this Halloween Lucio? I imagine he is quite evasive. Bunny Bolt Blitz comes out from the Esther. I believe I saw somebody move, and that was Summer Kilfei dodging. If Summer Kilfei's dodging, it's not good, because that means Halloween Lucio is going to be very evasive, and he takes the damage from the Bursting Light fairly well, still at about half health here as the Surging Strike comes out from Cyrell. Halloween Lucio with the sleeper sweep. That is a tongue twister, and Charlotte is down for the count. No sleep lands, though. Obviously, Esther still awake, still might be able to kind of deal some damage to the other side. Twisting Shield Breaker almost kills her, but manages to hang on. Is that going to be the difference in the fight? As Bursting Light takes out Halloween Lucio, it is now a 2v2, even though Esther's health bar is nearly gone. Surging Storm going to deal a ton of damage, gets her debuff resistance up, but you can't debuff that, as she drops down to a 2v1 here. Can Gargus swing this? Can he turn it around in his favor in this 1v2? He should be able to land at least one kill here. Windlash is going to kill the Cyrell, but it gets dodged again by Summer Kilfei. With that Halloween Lucio card giving agility and luck, she's very evasive. She lands the slow on Gargus, which means she is going to lap him. She is going to try to cut him in half. He has one more opportunity he needs to kill in this hit. Bursting Light's going to come through, only 4,000 damage. And those two dodges look like they're going to be the difference in this fight, as Gargus is going to drop. Daewn and Inquisition are going to be victorious in this fight. Absolutely banger of a match, and congratulations to Daewn. Next on deck here, we have Maughanman, coach of Dirty Slushie versus King of the Kansas City Killas. And in a blink of an eye, this fight is starting with King Bradley using that exact buff here. Moore is going to start channeling a spell. What is it going to be? I assume maybe a Calamity Guard if she's starting to channel at this moment, as the council comes up from Ryryu. Shadowbind immediately coming up from Melnia, and I don't think that's what you want to see if you're Maughanman. I think you want Melnia buffing up, but unfortunately she is able to reach here with the damage. Although, I say that, Mont is now in the back and he is now stuck, which means he might not be able to basically take any of that hate. This could actually work out for Maughanman. But anyway, looking at the teams, King Bradley, Moore, and Mont Leonis on King's side. And on the side of Dirty Slushie, we have Ryryu, Melnia, and S.E.E.S. Should be an interesting one here. Is Ryryu, is he in range? No, he is not. He's a gunner unit, doesn't have the height range, so he's probably going to buff until he gets all the way over to the left side here. But Melnia Shadowbinding again means she is completely out of AP. So even if that tank is in the back, if she can reach him, it kind of doesn't matter. S.E.E.S is going to walk forward here. Calamity Guard on the entire team again. Just kind of refreshing that so that everybody has a one-hit shield. Mont is doing a good job basically standing still, being the tank, getting the courage online, and Bradley is inevitable. Here he comes with a calculated rend, and that damage is calculated about 60% of her health bar right now. As Moore is going to start channeling something, I imagine this to be offensive, should get soaked up by the runic of S.E.E.S here, but with only 6 AP, Melnia does find the room, shoots right over her ally's head to land the hit onto Bradley, but is it enough? S.E.E.S, you got to move out of the way of this AoE, and she does exactly that. Magic burst on the backline here. Bradley should go for S.E.E.S again, I believe. He does with another calculated rend. And speaking of calculations, that CT is up 200, which means now he laps in the turn order. He goes ahead of the gunner units, which is massive. Monteleonis is still sitting in the back, chilling in the trees, as Ram9 would say. As the silence lands onto Ryryu, that's not going to matter a whole lot, because what does matter is this third calculated rend coming out. And it looks like King Bradley for the King is going to win this matchup here. He is standing strong with his courage. He should be able to clean up this kill. And quick lunge will end it right here. So Maughanman dropping in this game to King of the Kansas City Killas. An absolutely amazing battle. Congratulations to King. We have 2 more fights left on this map. This is the second to last one, and we've got OdaibaDiver of Odaiba Diving School versus Sixeight, coach of Zasshu. Looks like that AoE buff coming online for Helena. She gets about 1,000 different things from this. An absolutely amazing buff. And on Sixeight's side, looks like the hate is going to be very high at this moment for this Engelbert as he catches some from Sottily. Obviously, both units getting the re-raise, and Shuts-Out now has courage. So everybody on Sixeight's side has a don't die skill. And speaking of which, looks like Mish is going to get a zombie TMR going for himself as well. So a lot of people are going to be tricky to kill here. The Griever's Wings coming out from the Engelbert. Interestingly enough, getting that defense debuff resistance up is not going to matter versus these 3 mages, as they are going to pack an offensive punch. Hex of Undoing from the Helena. So she's going to start walking forward. Sottily, Engelbert, shuts out versus Mish, Severo, Helena. Honestly, Engelbert, how good of a magic tank can he be? He is known for being a physical tank. He's going to have to be a hell of a magic tank too to have a chance here. Shuts out, going with the flanking strategy up the side with the hazard break. That is not pressure hazard. A lot of times to get pressure hazard to use, you almost have to turn hazard break off. So there's no stop chance with that skill. Fire is going to come out from Mish. And it looks like Mish is winning this battle versus Shuts-Out here. Severo's going to start channeling a spell. This should hit both, I think. I am mistaken. It only hits Engelbert. The Water Gut Perpetuator is 4k damage and dropping the Bravery, which means he will do even less damage than he would have before. Some really good piercing levels from the Sottily, though. If he can get in range, he might be able to deal some sort of damage. But Helena says, "You are not long for this world," Shuts-Out. He says, "Psych," pulls his best Neo impression from the Matrix, absolutely dodges that Briar Bind as Engelbert is walking forward with the Immortal Conviction. Can he get far forward enough, though, with the hate to actually draw attacks? Shuts-Out is in range, and I'm not so sure. He will end Mish's life. However, Mish has that re-raise from before. Severo, I believe, will still be in range of Engelbert, so he should attack him, I believe, with a Water Gut. That is exactly what's going to happen. Another 4,600 damage onto that tank. Mish, though, is not in range, which means he should attack this Shut Cell. And last time he one-shot him with just a fire, which means a flare will absolutely do it. 11.2 thousand damage onto my poor boy Shut Cell here. As Engelbert is trying his best to tank, as he does take out the Mish. So interesting, this is now a 2v2, but Sottily needs to join this fight. He is so far away at this moment. Can he get anything done at all? Briarbind is going to come out. It's going to remove the Courage. Engelbert fortunately does have the re-raise from the Sottily from earlier, but Sottily, buddy, you need to do something here. Crystal Grace is going to come out, so he's going to do haste and AP cost rate down. That is the brand new TMR from Bronwell. An excellent TMR. But I don't think it's going to be enough. Water is 6,300 damage. Sottily, you need to land a charm basically right now to have a chance. If you charm this Helena, I think you can win this fight. Rush Not Thy Fate, though, 2,400 damage. That is not the spell you want to see. He needs to somehow survive long enough to get this charm off. Rose Blast is 7,500 damage. He does survive it. Does he limit break? I think he needs to go for this to have a chance. He does not. Indoctrination isn't even enough to take out Severo, unfortunately, which means Odaiba is in a great position for this fight. Water Rush should take out Sottily. He should come back with the re-raise, but unless he laps, which I don't think he does, it will be all but over here for 6-8. Helena is going to start channeling another spell. Briarbind will take care of it, and OdaibaDiver and his diving school are victorious in their first ever match in the WDL. We have the last fight of this map for the Heindler division here, and it looks like we've got Impaler on the left with three-legged pants versus Xeno of Polarity on the right here. And unfortunately here for Xeno, he's got a couple of big lightning units into 2 earth units on Impaler, so he may have called his shot here. And this brand new buff with Ibarra, though, is very strong, giving her a massive physical health shield, so that still could be fairly useful considering the elemental disadvantage. Oberon is going to walk over, get the Keen Blade on Impaler's side, which means tons of CT. What does Lorenzo go for? He's going to go for Revitalize, so he's popping that TMR right out of the gate. And Velis is going to haste up multiple units. The Protect and Elemental Resist buff, though, from Catrah might even the playing field here a little bit with the Lightning versus Earth matchup, as they do get increased Earth resistance here. They should not be negative anymore in terms of that resistance. Purple Dragon's Aegis, the barrier comes online for Oberon. Lorenzo, is he in range to deal damage? He is not. Gonna go Dragon's Eye. Protect is on, but this is full magic damage from the side of Xeno here, as Shadow Flare comes out from Catrah. Who better to start the fight off than Catrah? And honestly, 4,400 damage is a pretty darn good start, dropping the AoE resist as well, as Winter Wrath is going to approach. Malevolent Lightning coming out from Ibarra. I expect this to do an okay amount. This does drop lightning resist. Honestly, 3,700 is less than I would have expected, just because of that lightning resist debuff. But can Winter Wrath take out Lorenzo? No, she probably can't, because he catches a massive heal from the Velis. Velis is hasted up, should be able to heal again soon here. And Oberon, they are stacked up huge for an AoE. Can he reach a limit break from here? It is now a diamond instead of a cross shape. He might not go for it because he would hit his buddy Lorenzo, but he's going for it on somebody. I'm not sure how many he catches with this, but I expect a good amount of damage. That is not a good amount of damage. What the hell? 599. I am stunned by how well Winter Wrath just took that. That is crazy. 2,000 damage coming out. Velis is going to go with this Sub-Zero. Almost takes out the Catrah. Barrier Break Dive does basically nothing. And you would think that Xeno's team would be the Earth units right now with how well they are taking this damage, but it is the opposite effect. I think it's just ludicrous amounts of AoE resist on these 2 units, along with the Earth resistance buff and Protect buff from Catrah. I think Catrah is making this team extremely tanking. Halting Spear does land a stop onto Ibarra, but this Lightning team is just straight up winning versus the Earth team. This is not something I expected. We've seen it more nowadays with like water beating lightning sometimes. Obviously the elemental, I think, matters less these days than it used to, but this is still incredible. I'm not counting Oberon out quite yet, as long as he has a health bar, but Curative Prayer from Catrah is making it so damn difficult, and he's just not going to deal enough damage to get through here. What does he have in store? He needs to land another stop. He did not get it, and the reaction heal certainly makes things worse for Oberon. Guys, I did not at all expect that fight to go that way. That was absolutely stunning. Well done by Xeno to stack up whatever AoE resist that he had going. And then Catrah, honestly, the MVP of that fight. She dealt damage to Lorenzo. She got Protect on everybody. She got Earth Resistance on everybody. Made her team way tankier than they ever should have been. That was very well done. GG. Starting up on the new map here for the Heindler division, we have Xeno running it back-to-back games here. He's going up against Maughanman of Dirty Slushie. Can he pick up another win here, as a huge 10,000 physical health shield is there for Jaden the Celebrated, running this full ice-water composition alongside McLeod and Ildira. Very cool to see, as Ildira is going to get this limit break off. An excellent turn rotation coming out from Xeno right away to get this CT way the hell up. Nullifies a bunch of status effects now as well, so it's very good stuff to see. And it looks like Maughanman is trying the exact same team that he ran against King. Will it work better this time with somewhat of a better map? And it looks like that Melissa's him comes out from Melnia, that Protect, AP Auto Restore, all that kind of stuff. So everybody on the team of Maughanman has Protect online. However, that will only really be beneficial versus this McLeod. Ildira goes for a buff. Revitalize coming out from Jaden the Celebrated. And Jaden's biggest issue as a unit is not having enough AP. That's not going to be an issue anymore, as he's got plenty of time to buff, plenty of time to use bells, and we'll see how this works out. That giant physical health shield is going to be hard to get through from the other two units on the other side here, as the Black Rose Helena TMR, the old Black Robed Witch TMR, excuse me, used by Ildira. Melnia is going to buff and walk over to the side, and now S.E.E.S has tons of hate. The fight should finally kick off now, with Jaden the Celebrated going for the limit break on just the S.E.E.S. How much damage is this going to do? She's not known necessarily as a giant pierce resist tank, and she takes 6,600 damage. That is pretty respectable, as McLeod is going to be able to chain up here. Ice Pierce Chain for 12k damage caps her. The tank is now gone, and these missile units are going to have their work cut out for them. This is going to be very hard. Ryryu going to go with Revitalize, so he's got tons of AP too. But unless there's some reflexes or weird stuff, or they do way more damage than I expect, this could be very tricky. McLeod is going to walk forward. Jaden the Celebrated going to buff and do the exact same thing. Ildira, what does she have? Height 2 resistivity, which also gives missile attack resistance up. Man, Melnia needs to put in some work here. She's going to go for Castigation here. Obviously, that giant physical health shield putting in work here for Jaden. McLeod honestly tanks it decently well, but my goodness, Magellant's Rain dumpsters this Melnia. Ryryu is going to go next, and there's just no way out here. Armbuster does land the disable on McLeod, but he would need to land another one on Jaden, and then somehow make Ildira not do any of this healing that she's about to do. She's going to land a 6.5k heal. McLeod's going to walk in, even though he is basically just a Roomba vacuum at this moment, moving around but not doing a whole lot. Reflexes the Jaden the Celebrated, but again, I just don't know how he's ever going to get anything done here. Armbuster refreshes the disable just to make sure that McLeod can't do anything in this battle. And can they finally end this game? Can they finally close in on this Ryryu and put this game over with? Magellant's Rain comes through. It is enough to kill the Ryryu, and Xeno, with 2 battles in a row we have watched his team do very well, starts off his WDL career 2-0. Congratulations. Next matchup is between Dr. Dickhead of the Knobgoblins versus Catrah, coach of Sandrock, and it looks like Dr. Dickhead is running the same team that he tried against LucianRamz. Will it work better this time? He dealt a ton of damage, but that full life from Sylvie ended up being the difference. Can he pull it out this time? Revitalize is going to be here for the Kuruwazette. Obviously, the follow-up is in place for Bart's already. And the Courage for Snow. Can Snow soak up this damage, stand by himself, and heal back up is the question. Reagan's going to buff and stay right next to him, which I think is bad news for Catrah here, as Arrowfall is going to hit. Follow-up only doing 1790, though. Snow, I imagine, stacking up quite a bit of unit resist. Might have some crit evasion as well, as no crit came in there. Zazan with the March of the Juggernaut. So the entire team is clumped up from Catrah. I think that is the only kind of bad news for him. If Uni or Curry find a big AoE, it could spell disaster, but leave this to me from Reagan. Is actually going to walk backwards to get this buff on, and this is the best thing for Catrah he could ask for. His Snow is going to be by himself. No, he's not. Zazan's still in the range, but Bartz is not close enough to Curry for the follow-up, which means Uni is the only one who's going to get this follow-up here. Barrage does land on both, which means Zazan is done for here. Never mind. Only 1923. Whatever build that Catrah's got going on here is very impressive, as they are taking this Bart's damage very well. The Blood Sword would have killed Snow, but the Courage and Heal back, he's all the way back up to full. And this could be trouble here. Killer Cross comes out from Zazan, destroys the Uni, and Bartz is basically all by himself here. Curry is going to reflex to try and buy some time, going to dodge the Shifting Strike. He will live at least another turn. Reagan is still out of range for damage as he pops his King Bradley TMR. But Curry, what do you have in store here? You're going to have to do some crazy stuff, some crazy reflexes to give Dr. Dickhead a chance here. I imagine that he's going to go for the kill on Zazan. He's taking his sweet time to think about what he's doing. Maybe he already knows this fight might be over. He's thinking about his dinner plans later. I'm not entirely sure. He's getting in range for the Frostmaw Barrage. Lands the damage on both. The follow-up is still there for Bartz, but with the heal back, it is just really tough to overcome here. Reagan is going to go in for the Mountain Dive. It's going to be a double kill, and Catrah had the perfect plan to withstand that damage from the Bartz follow-ups. Bartz got multiple follow-ups off, but 2 units with giant heal backs, obviously with no healing power down, that is really tough to overcome. Bartz did a decent amount of damage over the course of those 3 rounds. And honestly, whatever Catrah was stacking up, if it was just tons of unit resist or tons of crit evasion, regardless, he did a very nice job resisting that damage. So very well done by him, and congratulations on the win. Next up, we've got S.E.E.S coached by Kyouma versus Arise from the Crashes coached by Snark. Both teams looking for their first win of the week here. And it looks like Snark is running double Lightning plus a Marguerite Time Mage against a Water unit and 2 Ice units. The exact same team from Kyouma as we saw in the first battle. Will it work out any better this time as the aerial supremacy comes out from the Aranea? Gernsback is going to go with whatever that was called, Spineworms something. I didn't quite catch it. I've never seen Gernsback, to be honest, or pretty much never seen him, so this is going to be a treat to see more and more of him this season. Guard Haste coming out from the Skahal, so obviously he has his Time Mage sub on, but that is really awkward on the side of Snark. The Haste is coming out from both Skahal and Marguerite onto the Esther. Obviously, I think he wanted to probably execute that a slightly better here as the King Bradley TMR comes out from Gernsback. Victoria's going to jump up in the air. She's apparently in range to deal damage on what I imagine is Skahal. Esther's going to close in. Shattering Dive shatters his health bar, but fortunately for him, he has that courage that keeps him alive on 1 health. What is Marguerite going to go for? Now it is the Quicken onto the Esther, as Flare is going to finish on Victoria. 8,200 damage. Goodbye Barrier. Esther should be able to clean up this kill, I would imagine. And Victoria is going to be down for the count here. So it is now a 3v2, but the Skahal does only have 1 HP remaining. Can either one of these units get in range to kill him? Aranea is going to have to, or else this is going to be a rough fight. She's going to Limit Break. I think this is on the Skahal, but that is a bit of a shame that she has to use the Limit Break to get that damage off. Obviously, Kyouma would have loved had that been a different ability. But Gernsback is hasted up. He's very speedy, and he's going to go for his own Limit Break here. Draconic Blitz. How much damage is this going to do? 700. Esther is known for being very good against Pierce attacks, so Esther honestly seems like the perfect bring here by Snark into this team comp that Kyouma has brought. Surging Storm, 5,500 damage is a lot, and I'm starting to wonder how in the hell they are going to get through this Esther. It looks like Marguerite is stuck on her own little island doing some Time Mage abilities, but Gernsback and Aranea, I just don't know if they're going to have the damage. 77 AP, does a little more this time. It does remove any sort of buffs that Esther had, but Marguerite is going to start entering the fight. She's not in range to cast anything here, but Esther might be able to clean up this Gernsback. 44 AP, she's going to go for Bunny Bolt Blitz, pop in the Limit Break, skips the animation, says, I don't need to see this shit. Gernsback is going down, and half of the health bar of Aranea is gone as well. Aranea, unless you have something in your kit that I'm completely unaware of, I think this one is over. Esther's going to catch the haste. She laps. She should be able to standard attack and deal a chunk of damage here. 2,500 on the crit. And Aranea, I think this is your last turn. Can she somehow kill the Marguerite? Even with the elemental disadvantage, should be a good amount of damage. It does kill. I don't think Aranea has reflex, though. And unless she does, I think it's over. Surging Storm is coming through. 5,000 damage is going to be enough. And honestly, MVP of the match here is the Esther. Esther was just an excellent bring into this comp. I don't know if he just called it perfectly, but obviously Esther is very strong versus Pierce units. So well done by Snark and Arise from the Crashes. Congratulations. Next fighters to enter the ring are LucianRamz, coach of Lone Shadows, and Sixeight, coach of Zasshu here. And it looks like LucianRamz is trying to go 2-0 on the season, on the week, and Sixeight is trying to pick up their first win. The illusion buff coming out from the Shadow Links. Shadow Links on ice, going with the Dance of the Violet. And what does Sylvie have? Going to be, I imagine, an AoE for all three of them here. It will be. It will be the Treasure Hunter's Fortune. So pretty similar to the last fight they did, trying to go with that evasion route. And it looks like there's a little bit of evasion on 6-8's side as well, as they have Sweetheart Miranda, Naya, and Resnick the Hoppy. A very interesting composition here, as tonight the moon bleeds red. This is Halloween Lucio's TMR coming out from the Resnick. So we're trying to get some AP, a little bit of extra physical damage, and regen coming out from the Naya on everybody. So nice little regen and healing power up for everybody. As a giant spear debuff resist up for the party. I think that will really only matter for Miranda. Obviously Resnick's not going to care much about that, as the Shadow Links on ice is actually going to refresh her buff, and Illusion is going to be refreshed on Shadow Links too. So not a ton of buffs that these units really can use. So they're just going to basically refresh the same ones over and over. So a little bit of stalling, a little bit of interesting start. But it looks like the King Bradley TMR is online for Miranda. And what is Resnick the Hoppy going to do? She's going to just keep hopping. She's going to get that slash attack piercing rate up, and she's ready to deal some damage. Naya, what do you have in store? Does she follow? Yes, she does. I was a little worried that she might buff herself or something and stand in the corner, but that is not the case. She is going to follow up to try and give some more heals later. Reflect, I don't think is going to matter. I don't think Sylvie's attacks really, she has any that are reflectable unless she goes for a holy. So we'll have to see here. Sweetheart Miranda going to go with the re-raise force. AoE resist is always nice, obviously. And I don't think there's re-raise removal on the side of LucianRamz. As speaking of re-raise, Shadow Links is going to do the same thing. And this fight should kick off momentarily here as the Lock TMR gets refreshed again. I think I've seen the same buffs about 3 or 4 times in this battle already, as Resnick the Hoppy is going to come in, but she apparently cannot hit. I don't know if that's a range issue or an accuracy issue. And the fact that Sweetheart Miranda is buffing tells me that she might have White Mage Sub turned off. Sweetheart Miranda is not an accurate unit whatsoever. She is very inaccurate. However, she has White Mage Sub, which gives her Holy. The fact that she's not going for that means that I think 6-8 is in trouble, because I don't think he has a way to hit this Shadow Links. Shadow Tether's going to come out. He's going to stop the Resnick the Hoppy and almost one-shot her. And honestly, guys, this might be a 1v3 by Shadow Links. Naya's going to start channeling a spell. It's going to be a regen refresh, but the Resnick can't do anything. Sweetheart Miranda is just confirming what I've already stated. No White Mage Sub, which means she's going to stand hill with the King Bradley TMR, and it's just rough to see. It's unfortunate. It's one of those things in the game where you just have to pass that number check. If the hit rate is 0, then the hit rate's 0, and you can't do much of anything. Double Arc Slash is going to deal a good amount of damage on the 2 backline units. The only win con that 6-8 has here is to somehow stall enough time, heal back up, and have Sweetheart Miranda kill these 2 backline units, because they cannot hit the regular Shadow Links, but so much for that, as she is going to drop and have to use her re-raise already. Shadow Links, who is she going to go for? I imagine she goes for the kill on Miranda, since she has more HP, and she's going to do just that. Shadow Tether, another 10k damage, and this is LucianRamz's favorite unit in the game. And he's very much showing why. She's putting on a clinic here. Going to catch a huge Kiraga on the Resnick. Honestly, she might not be stopped for that much longer, but she only has 1 HP left, as the ending Axle ends any sort of hope that 6-8 had in this battle, unfortunately for him. As Prayer of Resolute, oh, it's just going to be refreshed. I think this is the 3rd time that Sylvie has used this ability in this battle. Shadow Links is going to go up. She is going to clean up this fight. And excellently played by LucianRamz. Obviously, the evasion is very much on point for this MR Shadow Links. That was on full display, as multiple units could not hit her whatsoever. But GG's, very well played. Just a couple of more fights left in this week for the Heindler division. We have Dawn of Ash's Inquisition versus King's Kansas City Killas. And it looks like King is using the exact same team he brought last time. Dawn going with a switch up though. A couple of strike units in Lisette and Perrine alongside Minwoo for support. So we'll have to see how this goes. Fairy Guard coming out from the Minwoo, getting unit resist up on both Perrine and herself. Might be useful, though I will say Bradley's best attack skill is an AoE skill. So we'll have to see here. So Lisette going to AoE buff. She's going to walk forward. Calamity Guard being used again by the Moor, but she has an offensive AI, which means she moves out of the way of being able to cast it on herself as well. So she will not have the barrier, just the other two units, but still a pretty decent turn. And the obviously AoE resist TMR coming out from the Mont. Raging Waters online for Perrine, so she is basically ready to go at this moment as Bradley gets his courage. And he's ready to rock as well. Rocking almost 12,000 HP. I'm pretty sure that Bradley's probably max reincarnated as the silence lands, but it's on Perrine, which really shouldn't matter a whole lot. Lisette, what can she get done? She goes for the taunting spell. Interesting enough, she had to hit the Mont because he had the hate. Obviously, basically no damage, but she does have hate. And how does that change the fight as Perrine knocks more the hell out here? King Bradley is going to walk forward, get that calculated rend, and says, are you sure you wanted that hate, Lisette? I will take care of you for it. Mont is going to come in with the Stone Throw Mastery. I don't think it dropped her defensive piercing. I might have missed that. Maybe she has debuff resistance and just happened to not catch the defense piercing down. As healing power down on the two enemy units, that might matter if Mont uses his limit break, but otherwise it shouldn't matter a whole lot. But King Bradley with the calculated rend takes out the Minwoo. That is brutal for Dawn here. Perrine does catch the heal back, but she needs to do so much damage here. Vortex Kick is a good chunk, but with King Bradley's courage still up, I don't know how she's going to overcome this. 69, a nice amount of AP on Mont, is going to go for the damage, heal himself back up with the Killer Drain Blade. Assault Blade is going to remove Perrine from the fight, and that King Bradley is a scary fella, and King of the Kansas City Killas is victorious and starts his season off, his rookie season, 2-0. Last fight of the day, guys. We have OdaibaDiver and his diving school versus Impaler of the three-legged pants. Odaiba trying to start the WDL outright, trying to go 2-0, and it looks like Impaler is trying to avoid that 0-2 start. We'll see what happens here. Odaiba going with the double gunner team with both Rugia and Alaya alongside Titus. I've said it in the draft recap video. They have good synergy with that Melnia VC. But on the other side, Impaler's got some as well. He's got Astrius, who is now down to 90 costs this season, alongside Velas and Rob Horn. And I am very excited to see some Rob Horn. I don't think we've seen almost any of him in the WDL before. So what can he do here? He's going to use his own TMR with the Keen Blade. We see his TMR all the time, but not so much him, as Velas should be able to refresh haste on himself and as well getting some onto the Rob. Titus is a bit of a slow boy, but he's got his courage online and walking forward. I think I saw 2 movement from Titus. I'm pretty sure that was only 2, which obviously means he is rocking that bow tie. Sometimes Titus can be a little weird with his buffs, so obviously trying to get multiple buffs online from Odaiba, and that is probably why he's running Bowtie. The other reason is Titus does not start the fight with any initial hate, which can be a little awkward. That being said, the entire team from Impaler going to start walking forward. Alaya Rundal, what does she have? She's got tons of range. Hail of Bullets comes in, misses the Rob. An evasion unit on the other side could be a little tricky. Does deal a decent amount of damage to the Astrius as Rugia has it onto Rob. Not sure if that's a guaranteed hit or not, but only needs one more of those to get rid of him, as Astrius is going to go with the cross destruction. Titus is a great MR tank, but the one thing he's weak to is slash damage, which is a bit unfortunate. Vortex Render is going to remove him from the fight, gets rid of the courage. He never got his physical barrier off, which you can very much see in this fight here. Velas is going to go with the snow healing, and this team from Impaler is just so damn fast. Crazy lapping Odaiba over and over. Cross destruction is going to, I think, double kill the 2 gunner units, and Impaler, pissed off about the loss in the first one versus Xeno, comes out swinging in round 2, takes down OdaibaDiver to end the week 1 for the Heindler division. Well, guys, that is all she wrote for week 1 of the Heindler division, and this is how the standings shake out at the end of it. We have a 4-way tie for first. So 4 different players went 2-0, which is absolutely incredible. We have Catrah of Sandrock, LucianRamz of Lone Shadows, King of Kansas City Killers, and Xeno of Polarity. So 2 returning players and 2 brand new players, all holding it down in that first place with 2-0 records. We have 4 people in the middle here with Daewn of Inquisition, Snark of Rise from the Crashes, OdaibaDiver of Odaiba Diving School, and Impaler of Three-Legged Pants. Again, 2 returning players, 2 new players, all sitting at 1-1. And looking at the bottom, we have Dr. Dickhead of Knobgoblins, Kyouma of S.E.E.S, Maughanman of Dirty Slushie, and Sixeight of Zasshu. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but this is 2 returning players and 2 new players, all at 0-2. So 6 returners and 6 new players. Sprinkled in 2 and 2 of each for all the different records. Kind of wild to see after the first week. We're going to have 7 more weeks of battles for you guys, 9 more battles for every single player in this division, which means even if you are 0-2, you could very easily end up in one of those top spots if you start going on a big win streak. So you're always trying to aim for that top 6 spot because that allows you to get in the playoffs, get in the dance to try and win the whole thing. And you really want to try and stay out of those bottom 3 spots just in case we do have enough new players who want to participate in the following season. You may lose your spot if you're in that 10th through 12th place spot. So it should be an entertaining season. I hope you guys enjoyed these matches. I know I did personally. Keep your eyes out. Hopefully tomorrow or maybe the day after that for the Rundall division. It should be a good time. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like if you feel like it. If you don't feel like it, that's fine too. You guys have a wonderful day.